All right, so let's take a look at using input fields, right, to create various forms for entering text entry, right? Maybe the title, some description, some points, and to do that, we're going to use a new element, a couple of new elements. One of them is the form label. The other one is a form input, and the other one is form validation message. Okay? The form label is just a styling element, right? It just gives a particular style. Same thing as the form validation message. It just styles the contents to be bold and red. Right? That's all it does. Right? And it's always there. So it would be your responsibility to have here perhaps a dynamic value that would either be empty, right, or the actual value. Right? You would dynamically set those values there. The other thing is the form input. You would handle the state of that form like any other element, right? Like an input field. You would have to bind some event handler to grab the onChange of this, right, and store it in the component state. Right? Here we made it a little bit more generic. Notice that it's this.form update. Right? And so instead of having one event handler per input field, we'll just have one of them, and we'll use the same one across all the input fields. Right? So it'll be easier. It'll be just one event handler. So let's take a look at that. Let's create a constructor. Well, actually, first of all, let's render something. Let's grab this and let's create. Let's get started on a particular form. So let's create here maybe. Which one do I do first? Wait a minute. Oh, I don't show anyone in particular. All right, let's do the true and false. So true, false, question editor. .js. Okay. And in here we'll let's copy some of this stuff, some of the boilerplate stuff. Okay, essay question I had done here. That's fine. We'll do the true false. So we'll need here to import React from React. We'll import a couple things from React elements. In particular, we will import form label. We'll import form inputs, and we'll import form validation. Okay. And then we'll create a component. We'll say this is a class of true false. In the true false, this extends the React.component, and this renders. It returns the following. And let's just grab this. We'll probably need a view for this. There we go. Okay. We won't have the onChange just yet. So let's remove that for a second. So this might be the title and the form input. And let's see how this renders. Okay. All right. So let's bring that into the app. So this might be the import true, false question editor from elements true, false, and then let's render it right underneath here. Let's see, element type string invariant. What am I missing? Oh, did I export this? I didn't export it. All right, so this is export default, and this is true, false. There we go. Are you happy now? No? Okay. Still I need to import view. So let's see. In Vue, we'll need to import from React Native themselves, right? So it would be React Native. Anything else? Let's see. Are you happy now? Okay. All right. So notice that I have the form, right, up there. Just the title. Notice that the title is required. Notice that it's always there, right? Instead of having a hard-coded list, a hard-coded string, that would need to be an expression, right? And the expression, you would change the state, right? So you would have a state for that, and you either bring and make it empty when there's nothing wrong, and you would make it, the actual value when it's there. Or you could also set it to a show or no show. All right, and we can just create a couple more. So this might be a description. So this might be title. This might be description. And then description is required. Okay. Let's see. So there we go. We have two form elements there. And what I'd like to be able to do is capture the state of each one of them, right, and make it part of the form, right, as a single state object, like a JSON object, right. So what we could do is capture their change using onChange. So to do that, we'll need to first initialize the state, right? So let's do that. Let's go to the constructor. So this will be constructor that takes as argument the props, and we can send it to here, and then we can initialize, and we can say this dot state, and we can initialize this title to be empty string. We can initialize the description, description, empty string, maybe the points, right, 0, and any other piece of state information that you want to keep track of, right? So what we could do is that in a function called update form, that can take the new state, so new state as an argument. We can just set the new state. Just set state, new state, right? And then each one of the onChange event handlers for each one of the input fields could feed the new state, saying, oh, the title is this now, right? Or the description is this now, right? And it would be stored in the component state variable, right? So here we can say on value change, on change text, we can notify and say this dot update form, and we can pass here the value. We can say actually first when the onChange gets called, it passes as arguments. It passes the actual text, the brand new text, and so we're going to pass it here as an argument to this function. So we're going to say that the title is now the text, right, of the field. Okay. There we go. And similarly, we want to do the same exact thing for the inputs, for the description. So we can say that the description, we'll set it to text, to that particular text, right? All right. So let me see if this broke anything. All right. So it's still okay. This could have a preview down below to see what the question might look like, right? So we could use a text down here, maybe a text from React Native Elements, right here, right? So maybe I have text, and this might be a header 3, and we'll call this preview, right? So the above is the configuration, all right? Or this maybe, or I don't know, the question editor maybe. Yes, the editor below, above, and then the preview of the question of what it's going to look like below. So the preview might be that that it will show a title of some size, maybe H2, it'll put here that this state.title, whereas the actual description, right, probably be several paragraphs long, maybe, right? It'll be just a text, a regular text with no headings, right? So it'll be the smallest font possible. So this might be this state dot description here. Okay, all right, something like that. So if we re-render, notice the preview is empty, but if this is the title, right? So you can see what the title is on the fly, right? And down below, this is the description. And this might be, oh, I can't copy? What? Oh, I think I had lorem ipsum copied a while back. So notice that it's a small font, right? So you could see, presumably, preview what the question might look like. Or you might want to put like a tab there or a checkbox or where you can turn on and off the preview, right? Or do the inverse, right, where you can say an edit, and then it just edits the question. Yeah, so there it is. So we have the beginnings of a form editor, right, that can allow us to edit a particular question, right? So let's take a look at and we might add a button, right, a couple buttons to maybe say, all right, save the content or cancel and navigate back to where you were. Although we haven't done navigation, so let's add buttons real quick. And here we're using the we're going to put it right above the preview. Although we don't have buttons, so let's load buttons from the React Native Elements. Right, and notice that now we have save and cancel. We didn't put any padding, but yeah, we need some padding. And ideally, the save would do a post or a put to the server, right? And when it gets a response back from the server saying that it was successful saved, right? It would then navigate up to the list of questions, right? So basically, implementing a summary and a details navigation, right? Something like where you would have the list. So this is the exam, right? Here's the exam. And the exam would be a list of questions with chevrons, right? So this is question 1, question 2, question 3, and a plus here or above, I don't know. And when you click on question 2, it navigates, depending on the type, right? If this is a multiple choice, it navigates to the multiple choice editor, right? When you say save or cancel, it goes back here. If you click on this one and this is a true/false, it navigates to the true/false editor, right? And then it would come back here. Here as well, you might have also not only save and cancel. It might be that you might also have here delete, right? And this is where you would delete the question, right? As opposed to here. I mean, you could have like an X for each one of these. I guess you could do that, right? But I think this might make more sense, right? You click on the question, you navigate to the editor, you click on delete. It sends a delete to the server, right? When it gets back a response, then it navigates back to the list, right? And then it reloads the entire list of questions. Make sense? Right. All right. So right, we got the lists. All right, we got the forms. Right. Well, we got one form. Presumably, you would have one form per type of question. We still need to navigate. So let's see where we are. Look at preview. Oh yeah, let's look at scroll view. So scroll view allows you to handle content that's fairly long, right? What you could do is just wrap the entire content, right, with scroll view. So instead of having a view, right, a regular view, you can use a scroll view instead, and then it allows you to scroll. Notice that currently the current implementation doesn't scroll, right? Doesn't allow you to scroll, even though it has quite a few pieces of content, right? So what you could do is that in the outermost element, right? In let's see, is this app? Where's app? Is this app? Yeah. Okay. So notice app. What we could do is that instead of having this view here, right, you can replace it with scroll view. And scroll view is one of the default elements in the React Native. So let's replace that. Scroll view, and now notice that the whole thing can scroll up and down. All right, as easy as that. All right. All right. So scroll view. All right. So let's talk about checkboxes. Is this? Actually, it's just one slide. All right, so let's just add checkboxes. Notice that we are in the true/false, which is perfect. All right, that's where we want to be. So checkboxes. Let's add a checkbox at the bottom. If this is a true/false question, you want to say whether the right answer is true or the right answer is false. Right. So let's grab a checkbox, and this is a let's go into the true/false question editor, and we will load a checkbox from here, right? Oops. Didn't like that. Is it not here? Checkbox, yeah. Anyway, let's grab the content, and what we'll do is that we'll just render it for now. With the title, so let's see, and we'll render it right at the bottom here, right before the buttons. There we go. We're not using the on press just yet. All right, we'll just want the title. There we go. Okay, and that died. Why did it die? Let's restart. Let's see. While that's going, notice that the checkbox has a few fields, right? One of them is whether the checkbox is checked or not, right? And we can bind it to a state variable, like is true or is false. It also has an on press, right? That can check to see is invoked whenever you click on it. And what we're going to do is just we're going to initialize the state to be true, meaning it's initially checked, and the on press is just going to change the state to the negation, right? The inverse of whatever it used to be. So let's add a constructor. Well, I think we have a constructor, don't we? Oh, there we go. Okay, here's our checkbox. Notice that when I click on it, nothing happens, right? Because we're not changing its state, right? So let's initialize its state. Let's see. We have a state initializer here, so we can say, is the question true? Is true. True. And this will say, let's turn it on to true. Can't type. Jeez. There we go. True. So now the checkbox, we can use the checked attribute and bind it to the state. This.state.isTrue. And notice that it's checked, right? And what we could do is that when we press it, we can toggle that state, right? We can say on press. On press, we can call this dot update form, and we can change the is true to whatever the old state was, right? And the old state was this dot state dot is true. We're going to do the not of that, right? There we go, right? So if we run that, oops, what's going on? Did I do something wrong? is this dot update form. This closes here. Update form closes there. State. Did I misspell something? Okay. Maximum update depth. Uh-oh. Checkbox uncheck. Other form. Oh, geez. Okay. Is update. All right. So I don't want to do this immediately. I only want to do it. Thank you. I only want to do it when it's actually clicked, right? Right. So it was calling itself infinitely. All right. There it is. Right. So now it's being checked. And now we would be ready to post it to the server. All right, great. So let's take a look at now being able to navigate, right? So if we have a list of questions, we'd like to be able to navigate to a particular editor for that particular type of question.